How does it make you feel when you hear a comment like burnout is something that only poor people can afford? Now, this is the type of comment that I hear from wealthy people, that they operating on overdrive, they operating on completely shame and guilt for stopping and resetting the entire system. So they have conditioned themselves to achieve high levels of results, operating on this automatic way of being that is about go, 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 push, push, push. I can't afford to stop. I have to keep going. And bottom line is, a lot of the male figures, in order to provide, in order to achieve, in order to get results, they will create a mindset that is all about doing it non-stop, not feeling, not connecting, not being in tune with what is really happening in your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies. Fair enough, you might get the results that you want. You might achieve your wealth, your financials that you want. To what cost, I ask you? What cost is that you are paying in order to operate this way? Is this really true? Is it really true that only poor people can afford burnout? Or is the belief behind all that there is purpose? For sure, there is purpose, because when we have purpose, when we have a goal with meaning, we go and do whatever it takes in order to achieve that goal. However, I want you to think about what is really the driver of all that. Reality, what is the driver? Why is that you entered that space of shaming and judging others and yourself if you take a break, if you reset, the perceived idea that if you think that burnout only happens for poor people, they're only people who can afford that, thinking that this distorted idea will help you to keep up with your commitments, with your goals, with everything that you need to do in order to maintain your wealth, to maintain finances up, is a completely nonsensical idea. And I tell you why. What is behind that belief? What is behind that conversation? What is behind that story that you're telling yourself is something completely different than what appears to be. And this is where your reflection is. Have you ever thought about that? Everything that you do, how you behave, how you act, how you perceive, the beliefs that you have, how are they shaping yourself, shaping your life? And if you really think that a burnout is associated to financial wealth or not financial wealth, that is honestly something to be revised in terms of understanding what about burnout is, understanding about how does it work, understanding about what you're doing in terms of how you operating, the cost of that, the cost of proceeding on overdrive, overwhelmed, going, pushing. At some point, will catch you. But no, with me it doesn't happen, isn't? How is your health? Maybe your health is good? Okay. How are your relationships? Oh no, your relationships are fine. I got support everywhere. Okay. How's your business? How is other areas of your life looking like, shaping it? How are you feeling about yourself? How is this automatic way of being working? You see, with the price that we pay, it's really a personal choice. Now, you might perceive life and think that continue to work on the automatic, being unaware of your needs, your real needs, being unaware of your limitations. And I'm not saying that you don't have to overcome your limitations, that you don't have to push through. But how is your mind, body, and soul feeling about all this? Be honest to yourself. Honest. Not this, but maybe I have a lot of commitments. I have to fulfill a massive business. I have a lot of bills. I have family. I have this. I have that. I get it. Absolutely get it. But there is a price to pay. And sometimes when you enter burnout, it's too late. It's too late to reverse back. It's too late to fix the damage. So my suggestion for you is this. If this is triggering you, this conversation is triggering you, and you think that this thinking, this idea that burnout is something that only poor people can afford because you are so wealthy and you have so much entitlement about the world that you live in, perhaps you need to take things differently. Perhaps you need to look at yourself with a bit more compassion and adjust things. Slowing down, resting, replenishing, resetting, so you can go harder, better, more proactive, doesn't mean that you are stopping. It doesn't mean that you are becoming unproductive. It doesn't mean that is only for poor people. It doesn't mean anything. So what is your perception about taking a break? What is your understanding? What is the belief that you have about taking a break, resetting? Based on this belief is how you run your life.